Wi-Fi without passwords is best. I married Jared Knowlton after only knowing him for about 6 months. My parents, my stepfather, and mother, my biological father was kicked out of our family a long time ago for adultery. A zero tolerance for cheating is something my mother instilled in me from an early age, though I was too impulsive at 21 to heed their advice, still rang me to their credit. During the wedding festivities, my parents acted happily, while 25-year-old Jared's parents were extremely nervous. However, I was a little alarmed when, at the reception, Jared's drunken sister happily told me, I never thought he would stop playing on the field. Being somewhat confused, I did not pay attention to her words at the time, although I remembered later. I think, for the first 2 years, Jared and I lived the typical life of a young married couple. He satisfied me in bed and protected me when guys pestered me, without being, however, insanely jealous. However, he seemed to pay a little more attention to the appearance of the females of our species than I would have liked. In the confrontational conversations I had with him about this tendency, he assured me that I was his only reality, and he would never, ever cheat like my biological father did. There was a couple there, Shark and Beverly Wilton, whom I knew from college and who lived in the next town over. We met 3 or 4 times at places somewhere in between. Shark, real name Clarence in some sense, lived up to his nickname. He was the coolest guy I've ever met. Although he was gentle and helpful with his friends, he was not one to mess with, especially if he was angry. This became clear one night when the 4 of us were at a bar, and 2 nasty dudes who must have each weighed 300 pounds hit on me and Beverly while Shark and Jared were playing pool. Beverly called Shark. He walked up and told the 2 idiots to get out. One pushed him. I'm not entirely sure how the guy who pushed Shark ended up on the ground. It happened very quickly, and he didn't try to get up. I saw another guy take a swing at Shark. Shark grabbed his arm mid-swing, turned him so his head was over the bar, and then hit him 3 times. Shark threw a $100 bill on the bar at the bartender and said, "For any damages," and told Jared, Beverly, and me to let go, and we left the problem to the bartender, Tom, probably having to take care of 1 groaning and 1 unconscious fat man. I visited Beverly in their apartment several times over the course of about a year. For the first time since I introduced Jared to Shark, Beverly invited us to their party on Saturday night. It was an enjoyable event attended by about 10 couples, 8 married, 2 dating, Jared. I was having a nice conversation with a couple we just met when the guy and Jared got into a friendly argument about some baseball stats. I wasn't really keeping track of everything and was more interested in talking to my wife, but I noticed that Jared does what he often does during an argument. He takes out his smartphone, presses a few buttons, and then says, "Look, Tim." I was right. Mickey Mantle won the Triple Crown in 1956, including 52 homers, and handed my phone to Tim. I suddenly felt weak, and tuned out what Tim's wife was saying. Why did I pass out? Because, in order for the phone to connect to the Wi-Fi in Shark and Beverly's apartment, you had to know their password and log in, which is exactly what I had to do the first time I went to Beverly. How could Jared's smartphone connect right away when he supposedly had never been here before? Without being too embarrassed, I somehow ended my conversation with Tim's wife, I can't even remember her name, and then apologized. After taking a deep breath and splashing water on my face in the bathroom, I decided that I needed to find out if their Wi-Fi was password protected. It was highly unlikely that they had removed the password because Shark worked in technology and knew the possible consequences of someone watching child porn using someone else's Wi-Fi. When Shark went into the kitchen to get more beer, I followed him. "Tell me, Shark, a stupid question, but is your Wi-Fi protected by a password?" "Of course, Julia." "Why? Do you need the password to log in or search for something?" "Nothing has changed since then." "You look a little pale?" "Julia, is there something wrong?" Knowing Shark as I did, I probably should have just said I'm fine, thanks, but I didn't. Instead, I asked if you would like to meet me for lunch on Monday for the rest of the weekend. I was like a zombie. Jared asked me what happened, but I just pretended to be a little dazed. I promised to go to the doctor if I didn't feel better. By Monday afternoon, Jared realized something was wrong when I was sluggish during sex on a Saturday night. I'm usually a tigress. I thought about canceling lunch with Shark, but I knew he would be able to understand the situation better than I could. We quickly placed an order at a restaurant we'd frequented before, although it was usually just the 4 of us. "What's the matter?" "Jared was able to search your 1956 Mickey Mantle Triple Crown party without getting the password from you or Beverly." "I know because I was with him the whole time." Before this, it means that he was in your apartment before. Have you ever seen him in your place, Shark? Shark had a very shark-like expression on his face. His eyes seemed to become small, beady, and black, and he partially exposed his teeth on one side of his mouth. No, he wasn't with us, he spat out slowly. You understand technology? Can you conduct an investigation? Yes, I can, was his chilling answer. I cannot believe this, he growled. After a pause, he continued, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Then his behavior changed 180 degrees. I'll let you know as soon as I find out anything. For now, let's enjoy our lunch and talk about something else. Apart from this episode, how did you enjoy the party? In fact, I never heard anything from Shark regarding Jared and Beverly. However, I heard from the police about 3 weeks after my lunch with Shark. Mrs. Knowlton, the female officer asked when she rang the doorbell early Monday evening. There was a man with her, a policeman. I'm Julia Bissell. I kept my maiden name, but I'm married to Jared Knowlton. I answered worriedly, can we come in? The woman continued, I probably shouldn't have told Shark about the Wi-Fi password incident, I just had to figure it out myself. Shark told cops that he caught Jared and Beverly having sex in bed at his home and beat them both up. I didn't want to hurt them. I just got really angry and carried away. I sometimes visit Shark in prison. He knows he shouldn't have lost his temper, and I apologize to him and tell him I should have done things differently. I should have done the research myself. Subscribing to our channel is something you should do if you want to make certain that your second chaff does not cheat on you. You should also make it a point to listen to the story that follows after this one, since the one that comes after it is very different from the one that you are currently listening to. Should you be younger than 18 years old, you should not even contemplate listening to the one that is about to be presented to you. About listening to the